Hey guys, and welcome back to Altcoin Buzz Spotlight with me, Layah, the show where we speak to entrepreneurs, innovators, and thought leaders in the cryptocurrency and the blockchain space. Joining me today is Ugochukwu Aronu, the founder and the CEO of XEND Finance, the first DeFi credit union and the first company to build on the Binance smart chain out of Africa. Now, before we jump in, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an interview, and let us know in the comment section below who you want us to interview next and which topics you want us to cover. Ugochukwu, great to have you on the show today. How are you doing?
I'm very fine. Thank you very much, Layah. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you. You're doing some really fascinating work across Africa, so I just want to jump straight in. So firstly, tell us about XEND Finance.
Okay, so XEND Finance is actually it's a DeFi protocol that aggregates multiple lending protocols for the purpose of giving credit unions or cooperatives very high yields. And the reason we're actually doing this is because most of these cooperatives and credit unions that exist in developing economies or economies where they have economies that are unstable, or economies where they have steady devaluation of currencies, have very major problems with their assets. So by the time we are able to give these communities, these cooperatives, these credit unions access to stable coins or stable yields that are very high, you see, we're able to now protect their assets. We're able to give them access to the direct international money market, without them having to go through third parties or having to go through, like banks or decentralized, money systems. Yeah, so this is the reason we actually, this is what XEND Finance is, and this is why we created XEND Finance. Yeah.
I always find it really interesting to hear how this is essentially helping those in Africa. So I'm going to get to all of that. But first, from a technology standpoint, why did you guys actually choose to use Binance Smart Chain instead of Ethereum?
I'll let you know that we built on the Ethereum blockchain first, then we now built on Binance Smart Chain because we started on Ethereum blockchain before the Binance Smart Chain went to mainnet. But yeah, why we've chosen the Binance Smart Chain majorly is because, one, the fees are extremely low. Now, deploying on Ethereum blockchain makes it very difficult for people who are living in Africa, people who have very little income, to be able to leverage or take advantage of DeFi, right? Ethereum blockchain has very high fees, and it's a very big impedance. It's a very big problem. It's a major resistance for people to be able to get on board into DeFi. But when it comes to the Binance Smart Chain, the costs are very low. The Binance Smart Chain is also extremely fast, and it makes it very easy even for the developers, right, to be able to build on the Binance Smart Chain, because most developers, right, before the Binance Smart Chain have been developing with solidity on the Ethereum blockchain. So that's the language most blockchain engineers are used to for developing decentralized applications. So what the Binance team did was to make the Binance Smart Chain EVM compatible. That's Ethereum Virtual Machine compatible, meaning that you can write your existing solidity code, right, and deploy it easily on the Binance Smart Chain without changing any line of code. And it makes it really interesting. So it makes spotting code easy. It makes developing on the Binance Smart Chain very easy. That's from developer standpoint. But the main reason is we're looking at our community. We're looking at the people we're trying to serve, and we've seen that fees, cost is a major problem. So we're trying to reduce that cost and give them a very fast system as well. And that's why we chose the Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, cost and efficiency is so important, and it's really interesting just to see how much traction the Binance Smart Chain is getting. So from your perspective, do you think that, Binance Smart Chain actually has a potential to, I guess, replace or overtake Ethereum?
Yeah, so that's I don't think the goal, right, is for Binance Smart Chain to replace Ethereum. I think most like the goal basically is to be able to create a blockchain that enables or improves adoption, right? Because the guys at the Ethereum Foundation are doing a lot of work as well. I'm sure you're familiar, or you might be familiar with Ethereum 2.0, and there are also Layer 2 protocols on Ethereum that makes, that helps to improve the network, like Polygon, that's former Matic. But then, it's not really, I really don't see it as, okay, Binance Smart Chain taking over the entire ecosystem. I actually see it as these different ecosystems or these different blockchains really serving people, and then creating avenues for decentralized applications to get to in this case, to the people who need them. That's the lowest of the people that that need them. So I think the Binance team, the Binance Smart Chain, is doing a very good job on that. The guys at Ethereum blockchain are doing a good job. The only thing you would know is that there won't be any Binance Smart Chain if there was not an Ethereum blockchain, and the Ethereum blockchain has been there for so many years, right? So the Binance Smart Chain really is still at the very, very tender stages, right? So it hasn't really been pushed to the limit like Ethereum has. So, but there's great potential, and we're really happy to be building on it, and we're really happy to help to build more protocols or build systems that can help improve the Binance Smart Chain, just like the guys at the Ethereum Foundation are doing, like building an Ethereum 2.0.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective, and you're absolutely right. The developers are building a lot on Ethereum, especially Ethereum 2.0, and we can finally see how that plays out. So yeah, you're absolutely right. But I do want to delve in a little bit more and understand, why is DeFi so important in Africa? It's one of those places whereby it's sort of skipping different financial revolutions. So I think it's really fascinating. Please tell me more about it.
Yeah, so DeFi is just really important in Africa. In fact, I would like to say that we are the ones that really need DeFi, and the whole idea of decentralization. Africa needs it the most. Now, this is the reason why Africa basically has an unstable economy. Most countries in Africa have unstable economies. People here are mostly financially underserved, and these are the people we're looking at helping. And you realize that the average person in Africa, right, doesn't really have let me use the word residual income. By residual income, I mean maybe the income you have after you've handled your basic needs, right? So people here usually make sure that every single amount of money they earn, they actually spend it on basic things like food, water, electricity, shelter, and those basic things. So you realize that, and the reason this happens is because the economy is not really stable, and because of the instability, you face things like steady devaluations of currency. Like I'll use Nigeria for example, where we are based. In the past 10 years, I think Nigeria has undergone multiple, I think more than 3 devaluations, right, of the currency. And since our independence in Nigeria, I think in 1960, we've been facing small sets of devaluation, but they are not being announced. The currency has always been devalued, always been.
How
devalued.
are they devaluing it? What are they doing specifically?
So basically, it's more like the central banks, right? I won't say the full, or I know the details, to the core, but it's as easy as the central bank wakes up and it's like, okay, that the current value of the Nigerian Naira, right, isn't really matching up with what it's supposed to be with the US dollar. Now, why that thing will happen is because of inflation. Now, inflation, for example, the central bank can print money, right? We use fiat, of course, so money can be printed, and if you have so much in circulation, right, and the demand is very small, of course, that's when you have inflation, and that thing really automatically reduces the value of our currency when you're checking it against a stable currency like the US dollar. And that's really bad for Nigeria. So these cooperatives and the credit unions and their members that we target are people who depend on savings. There are people who depend on contributions, right, in their cooperatives, in their credit unions, who depend on loans. And when they have savings, right, stored out somewhere, and you realize that after a year, most of them like save money probably to pay their kids through school, right, or to engage in a new project. Now, when they try to access those funds, they realize that, hold on, the value of the money I had even before I saved is now less, is more than what I have after I have saved, plus interest, right? So you realize that even the interest added to the amount of money you have saved still is less than what you had before. That's the value, right, when you check it against the US dollar.
Yeah.
When you started saving. And that's very bad. That's bad. Okay. So one of it, we realize that this is a major problem. And people who have now tried to devise means of, storing their funds in foreign currencies have also faced a major problem. And that problem is the central banks of the existing banking system. They have limits on the amount of money you can convert, say, for example, to US dollar and invest in an international money market. For example, in Nigeria, there was a point at which, I think it was late last year, the maximum you could spend on your international card was $100 maximum you could spend. So when you want to pay for services like let's say cloud services and all that, because we're software engineers, we build a lot of apps, what happens is you need to communicate with someone in another country like the US or in Europe. You have to send them cryptocurrency, right, from Nigeria. They convert the cryptocurrency to US dollar and all that, put it into their cards, and now help you pay. So if you don't have someone out there that can help you pay for your services, that's it. You're not going to be able to build anything. So this is a major problem. It's even beyond just the cooperatives or the credit unions. It's a problem that exists everywhere, especially in Africa. You can see these kind of things in Asia as well, some parts of Asia, like Southeastern Asia. There are so many economies around the world that are, relatable to what we have here in Africa. So this is the reason why Africa needs DeFi. We need it very well, because what it has now done is it has removed that middleman. You don't need to talk to the banks anymore. You don't need to get any sort of approval, from a central authority. You don't need anybody restricting your savings. So you just save your local currency, and it's converted to a stable currency, that is pegged to the US dollar. And you earn interest on that stable currency. And people are going to be super excited to have this here. This is the first time it's coming to them, and, it's very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely love seeing what's happening in this space. When I first initially got into cryptocurrency and blockchain, it was actually blockchain in Africa, which just made me think, wow, I think it's so fascinating. I can't believe there's $100 limit. I didn't know that. That's mind-blowing. So thank you so much for sharing. This is really interesting. But there are a lot of DeFi protocols out there. So can you explain to me how XEND Finance is actually different to all the other DeFi protocols?
Yeah, so one of the things we like about our protocol and what makes us unique is actually our target audience, right? So you realize that other existing DeFi protocols like Compound, AAVE, Fulcrum, Venus on Binance Smart Chain, Fortube on Binance Smart Chain, there are so many DeFi protocols out there. You have DeFi Dollar, there are a lot of them. But the good thing about one of our solution is we are focusing on people who are not crypto savvy. We are focusing on the people who really need these solutions. Now, you realize that most existing DeFi lending and borrowing protocols online are mostly used by crypto savvy people who understand crypto, or, crypto traders, because they're the ones that go there, borrow. You're the ones that go there to lend. They can borrow one asset, get another asset, maybe like ethers, use it to make something like DAI and earn interest. When people buy and sell the DAI, the stable coins and all that, earn interest on fees. Just very, very well, in quotes, complicated stuff for the average person, right? So those are mostly the people that use these protocols, and of course they're increasing in number because adoption of crypto is actually growing. But we realized that the people that really need this, that's the people that need it, don't even know what something like Bitcoin means. Yeah. They don't understand what transaction hash means. They don't understand what a wallet, a MetaMask wallet means. What they just want is, look, help us protect our assets and give us good interest rates. Help us live a very good life. Help us, save and make these savings worth our time, worth the effort. And those are the people we are targeting. And they're actually the real people that will bring the real change, to DeFi. These are the people that will really help us scale DeFi. It's so far, the total amount of value locked, I think on the Ethereum DeFi protocol, if I might not have the exact figures, but it might be, say, over $30 billion or so, or thereabout, or less, right? And I know that it's possible to have a lot more. And most of the people that have those funds, on the DeFi protocols are people who are crypto savvy. But when you get these guys who are not crypto savvy into DeFi, then you've solved a huge problem, and that is what we're doing. So just imagine only Africa has over 1.5 billion people. Bringing those people into DeFi is going to be amazing, and that is what we're doing. And we are simplifying that process. One of the things that also makes us different from these existing DeFi protocols is our user experience, right? So we have our existing decentralized app. It's on the testnet now, but we're deploying on the mainnet this month. So we have our existing decentralized app that looks like all other decentralized apps, but with a difference. So we have like an SDK that we're deploying. That SDK makes the interface very easy for existing developers who don't even understand, who are not blockchain engineers, to be able to integrate XEND Finance. They don't have to bother about private keys, public keys, all those very complex things. We've abstracted all the complexity away. We just want them to plug XEND Finance into their existing systems and then give their users access to higher, yields. And also, same thing for these cooperatives, because most of these cooperatives around here have fintechs that manage them, that manage their books, that have software that manage them. So we plug in easily with those fintechs, give them our SDK, and then they give these cooperatives access to DeFi easily. The fintechs don't need to bother about being blockchain engineers. They don't even need to understand what solidity means and all that. So we're trying to make things very simple, because we understand where we are coming from, and we know that most people have problems, especially dealing with this entire financial complexity, because they've not had time to even solve their basic problems, and you're bringing this whole thing to them. They won't listen to you. So you need to make sure you get something that is very easy. They see the picture, and then they come on board, while they now spend more time solving their personal problems and not thinking about financial complexities. Yeah.
I think the complexity of this space is one of the biggest hurdles to mass adoption, especially when we're talking about wallets, private keys, public keys, seed phrases. I think this really just throws people. So I totally agree with you. Having that simplistic user experience is absolutely essential when it comes to mass adoption. But like you mentioned, you do have these really attractive interest rates. So how are you actually able to make that happen?
Okay, yeah. So basically how we make it happen is just by aggregating different lending protocols. So for example, on AAVE, you can have maybe like 5% today. On Fulcrum, maybe you can have about 8%. On DAI, on Compound, maybe you can have about 7%. On maybe the YDX, you can have like 15 or 14%, depending on the protocols, right? So what we do is we aggregate these different protocols. We use one of the protocols we use that even makes this a lot easier on Ethereum blockchain is XEND Finance. So it aggregates most of these multiple DeFi lending protocols, and just gets, at every point in time, it picks the one with the highest APYs and makes sure that users' funds are invested in the protocols. So that's basically how it works. It's very, very, it's very easy. It's very easy, to explain like at the higher level, but it's quite complex, when you look at it, in detail. But of course, the most important thing is that, yes, we aggregate all these lending protocols to give our users best APYs, and that is how we're able to get the interest rates to be very high. Yeah.
And you have the XEN token. So tell me about this. Where does its value come from and what's its utility?
Okay, yeah. So the XEND token is actually it's a utility token. It's a native token of the XEND Finance protocol. Basically, the XEND token, the first major thing we use the XEND token to do is to reward our users, right, for using the protocol. We have multiple strategies, saving strategies currently implemented. We're also working on more strategies to enable people to borrow and all that. So when you engage in these saving strategies, or the different strategies like the fixed savings, flexible, the Isusu contributions or saving strategy, or the cooperative or group savings, right? When you have your funds, locked on the system for a certain period of time, you actually get rewarded with our XEND tokens. More like to say, okay, yeah, thank you for using our protocol, and those tokens go directly to your wallet. And of course, we're actually going to be launching our tokens, having ATG, so you can actually access the tokens, you can swap them for any other token you want, and that's fine. Also, our tokens are used for governance, and that's a very important part of our protocol. So our protocol is not basically controlled. It should not be controlled entirely by the team, because yes, the team, we developed it, but we're putting it out there for people to be also to have a say, right? So with the tokens, you can vote on certain proposals. That some proposals can be made. Say, for instance, some parameters need to be changed, like how long people are going to save to earn a certain amount of XEND tokens, or something like maybe what's the minimum number of people that can be in a cycle. Some different parameters that govern the protocol. So that's what the governance utility is. So people can actually stake their XEND tokens and make most of these decisions on the platform. And now another thing, another utility of the XEND token is actually staking, right? So people can actually stake their XEND tokens, that's lock it up, right, for a period of time. Say, for example, you lock up your XEND tokens for about 8 months or a year, or depending on the staking and contract that is available at the time. When you lock up your tokens for a certain period of time, you're incentivized with a certain percentage of the XEND tokens. So there is in the token economy, you can see that there is a certain percentage to reward people for staking, okay, and also for locking up funds, locking up XEND tokens on the contract. Yes, so these are like some utilities. And something else we are actually working on is the decentralized insurance. So with our XEND tokens, you can actually get insurance that will protect your assets on the XEND Finance protocol, just more like a payment utility. So these are the values these are the utilities or the functions of the XEND token. Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot going on, but in terms of mass adoption and reaching the rest of the world, what are your plans? How do you actually plan to tap into other regions?
Okay, yeah, so we've already started tapping into other regions like the Asian market. We've partnered with some fiat to crypto on-ramp and off-ramps in the Asian market. We're going to be making those announcements soon. So the idea is for people in Asia to also, who don't understand what crypto is, who don't understand MetaMask and all these complexities, they can easily just come on our protocol, use the fiat to crypto on-ramp, and get onto the protocol and start using it instantly. So they don't need to bother themselves about maybe going to an exchange, registering on an exchange and all that. No, once they just come on, once the users come on our platform, registration is seamless. They just register once on the fiat to crypto on-ramp and off-ramp, so they can deposit their local currency and get access to the cryptocurrency and use it instantly. So everything is seamless. They don't need to start bothering themselves about asking people, where do I get crypto from, or what is the meaning of this crypto. No, everything is already outlined step by step for the crypto newbies, people who don't even understand what crypto is about. And another thing we've done is we've announced our XEND Finance and Warriors Ambassadors Program. So the idea of the Ambassadors Program is to have people scattered in different parts of the world, right, who are going to be educating people about XEND Finance, who are going to be organizing hackathons, because one of the things we're actually going to be doing is having hackathons in different parts of the world, in Africa, in Europe, in the US, so people can build applications on top of XEND Finance using our SDK or connecting directly to our smart contracts, build applications, win prizes, and then make their users or people within their communities use their application. So these are the different things we have, and of course having trainings, having seminars, and these are going to be organized by the XEND Finance Warriors Ambassadors. So those ambassadors are going to be working with us, directly. And one of the things we've already opened up the application. I think we've gotten, in less than 2 weeks, we've gotten over 300 applications from different parts of the world, and it's really interesting to see that people really want to work with us directly to be able to get this to different corners of the world. Yeah, so it's really interesting, and that's our plan on expanding, and increasing our footprint globally.
So just finally, and you have just briefly touched on this, but what can we expect from you guys in the next 12 months?
Okay, cool. So one of the things you expect from us in the next 12 months is our token generation event, and you can get all this from a roadmap. The roadmap, I can always share a link with you. So there's a roadmap showing one of the things we are trying to achieve. First, our token generation event. We're actually launching our mainnet, on the Binance Smart Chain and on the Ethereum blockchain. So we're going to have a dual chains. We're also improving the Ethereum blockchain with layer 2 scaling solutions like Matic. And the most important things we're really working on, because the technical part of the system has been completed actually. One of the things we've achieved is our audit as well. We made an announcement. We were audited by CETIC, and we're good to go. And one of the major things we're working on now is building more partnerships with real credit unions and cooperatives. We already have some that we have announced, and we're going to be announcing more. And we are currently getting, it's really interesting what's happening. Like, so many credit unions, there are some that are even in different parts of Africa and in the US who have reached out to us with assets under management worth over $90 to $100 million, right, by one credit. And they've reached out to us saying that they would really love to integrate with us, that they love the idea of targeting these credit unions and cooperatives. So we are super excited about what the future holds, because we are basically focused on building partnerships with real cooperatives, with real credit unions, and then with DeFi protocols that can help us increase the yields that we give to these credit unions. So these are the things you should expect from us this year. And of course, expansion into different regions. Like we're already in Africa. We're going to be moving into Asia. So yeah, so these are the things we're looking at achieving this year. And I'm very excited, honestly. Like, I'm super excited.
Yeah, I think it's going to be fantastic. And I want to wish you guys the best of luck on your expansion. And I want to thank you so much for coming on. It's been really interesting.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the time and the effort you've put in. And we're really excited.
Absolutely. We'll have to touch base with you guys in a few months to see where you're at. Thanks so much, Ugo.
All right. Thank you very much, Layah. I really appreciate it. Thanks.